Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Mensa Augustine. In this lesson, I'm going to look at how to solve these simple elementary algebra questions. So join me as we go through them step by step. Now the first one, Kossi obtained the scores 64 and 78 on his algebra quizzes. What score should he score on the examination paper in order to obtain an average of 80? How do we do this in a very simple way? Join me as we go through this step by step. Now, once we've talking about average and then scores, then let's use this average formula. We have average equals sum of scores divided by number of, let me use these shortcuts. I've used scores because the question is talking about scores. If it were to be ages, I would have written sum of ages divided by number of ages. Now here, the average has been given as 80. Okay, let me put it here. The average has been given as 80. Now, we don't know the sum of the scores. We know that the sum of the two quizzes, the first quiz is 64, plus the second quiz, that is 78. But we don't know what Kossi is going to score in the third one. And the third one is not quiz, but an exam. So we write that let X represents Kossi's examination score. Then we have to add X to this. So first exams plus second exams plus third exams. Or first quiz plus second quiz plus the examination score. So first quiz score, second quiz score, examination score. All divided by number of scores. Here we have 3 of them. So here you multiply 3 by 80 to get 240. Add this to this to get 142 plus X. We have 240 minus 142 equal to X. This gives 98 equals X. It means that Kossi has to score 98 in order to obtain an average of 80 in a very simple way. Now let's check the second question. Now the second question demands this. We have to show that the points A, B, and C form the vertices of a right-angled triangle. Now how do we do this? Okay. In order to do this, let's what we do. Let's find the gradient of the points. So let's take A, B, and find the gradient. So we write gradient of AB. Now remember that the gradient formula is given by changing y. Let's say y1 minus y2 divided by x1 minus x2. Or you can take y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Any of them will give you the gradient. So if I take AB, A has the points minus 1, minus 3. B has the point 6 and positive 1. So you can name here x1, y1, x2, y2. But I prefer naming it this way: x1, y1, x2, y2. So these are the y and these are the x. So the y values minus 3 minus 1 divided by x minus 1 minus 6, which gives minus 4 on minus 7 equals 4 on 7. Please, if you cannot calculate this in your head, use calculator to do that. Now, gradient of AC or BC. BC. Now remember, gradient of AB is the same as gradient of BA. So I could have written this one in BA instead of AB. So note it. Now, we take BC. C has the point 2 minus 5. So here, we name here, let me clean this one off. It has finished its work. So when I come to BC, I name x1, y1, x2, y2. So these are the y values. I take 1 minus 5. This minus is here. And the y here is also minus. Divided by, these are the x values. 6 minus 2. So this gives me 6 divided by 4, which reduces to 3 on 2. Now let's find gradient of AC or CA. You can write it as CA, or you can write it as AC, any of them. Now, for the gradient of CA or AC, we don't need these ones here again. So let's name them again. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So these are my Y values. Minus 3 minus 5. Oh, let me bring it here. Minus 3 minus 5. All divided by, that's my Y values. Then these are my X values. Minus 1 minus 2. So I think this will give me negative, positive. So to give me positive 2 divided by negative 3. So the whole of this is going to be negative 2 on 3. Wow. Now I don't need this again. So let me clean this one off and then write this one properly. Negative 2 on 3. Now, what we have to conclude here is that since the gradient of, in fact, I can write BC first or CA first, any one of them. Since the gradient of CA is equal to negative 1, okay, equals, okay, let's write it, equals negative reciprocal of the gradient of BC, it means that line BC and CA are perpendicular. Hence, A, comma, okay, let me bring them. Hence, A, negative 1, negative 3, comma, B, 6, 1, and C, 2 minus 5, form the vertices, of a right angle, let me put it here, of a right angled triangle. So you see that the gradient of BC is 3 out of 2, and the gradient of CA is negative 2 out of 3. Look at this. When we say negative reciprocal, negative reciprocal simple means that if I take the answer here, it is 3, wow, it is 3 on 2. If I take this and divide negative 1 by this, that is negative 1 divided by Okay, let me put it here. Divided by 3 out of 2. I'm going to get this. Negative 1 divided by 3 out of 2 gives negative 2 out of 3. Or, if I take negative 2 out of 3, and then write 1 divided by negative 2 out of 3, I'm going to get this. So whenever the gradient of one line is the negative reciprocal of the other, it means that those two lines are perpendicular. Perpendicular means they meet at an angle of 90 degrees. So if I want to draw line ABC, that is what I will do. I'll draw this line here and put here 90 degrees. Then line BC, so let me put here BC, and line CA, so correct. So B to C and A to C meet at right angles here. That is what we mean. Or you can draw it in a different direction, but the angle should be on C. The 90 degrees should be on C. That is BC and AC or CA meets this line at an angle of 90 degrees in a very simple way. This line is AC. The same line is CA. Or if you be confused, we can put the C here. This, if you put C here, it becomes BC. No. So the C should be here and the A should be here in a very simple way. So look at how we've concluded it. We've said that since the gradient of CA equals negative reciprocal of the gradient of BC, it means line BC and CA are perpendicular. Hence, the points A, B, and C form the vertices of a right-angled triangle, in a very simple way. We can prove it in a different way, but I think this is a very cool one for you. Okay. Now, let's look at the last question. The last question is just a minute. We have log base 2, 25 minus x equals 3. So from the definition of logarithm, we take 2 power 3 equals 25 minus x. 2 power 3 is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8, equals 25 minus x. We have x equals 25 minus 8, and x equals, if you take 8 from 25, what do we get? 17. So it means x equals 17. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments.